What's going on YouTube? It's Day the CEO, and today I'm here to do a trade recap slash overview on this Facebook trade that we took on October 12th in the Project 3 trading group. So if you haven't already, make sure you check that out. And yeah, so we're going to get right into it. Today I'm going to be using the on-demand feature with Thinkorswim. If you guys didn't already know, this allows you to basically go back in time. You can choose the date, time range, and whatever you want to do to review and see how you can trade the markets while we're on the next day, which obviously you can't really do just with the regular chart. So yeah, so use the on-demand trading feature if you guys would like to do that for yourselves, but let's get right into it. So first off, I'm going to start by overviewing what happened at the beginning of the market open and how we reacted to this. So obviously our first drawn out level is going to be this 322 level, playing it to the downside. Now with all the news catalyst sell off recently, Facebook has been driving lower and lower to the downside. Now, at the date of me speaking about this, obviously we have had a heavy bounce in the market, but going off this Tuesday trade, we've seen this heavy sell-off volume along with a lot of volatility with SPY. So overall, Facebook was looking very weak, especially pre-market. So something I want you guys to always pay attention to while you're scalping and day trading is going to be level 2. Now with level 2, you want to read the bids and asks to figure out where the buyers sort of coming in or where are they selling off to see whether prices are holding or not. Now if the price is not able to hold a certain level, that's where you're going to actually look to execute the trade. We're not executing based off our levels. So this 322 level, obviously this is where you're going to be paying attention to and now saying my interest is in Facebook because it broke this key level. Not enter right away. You want to be able to pay attention to price action and how the stock itself actually moves, and then react after you get all the key components together and see if this is going to be a good trade or not. You can easily get faked out and caught in a bad trade by that. You don't always want to be just going off of a key level. You want to actually have reasoning behind it during the market. Remember, we're following the market, not just a key level. A key level can bounce through or reject at any time, whether you're playing the upside or downside. So without further ado, we'll look right here. As you can see, right at the open, we sold off heavily. Now we pushed below the 322 level and actually headed all the way down to 320.5. Now me personally, I didn't play this. Some people did play this, and if you did, congrats to you. This was a quick scalp, a 1.5 point move to the downside right off rip. So what we see here is a quick sell-off. Now something that I want you guys to look at is the wick. So what this is basically showing us is that there are heavy buyers coming in around this 320 level. Now this 320 level is also going to be a level that you're going to want to keep in mind, possibly for a second entry, retest, bounce, etc. So that's just how you're going to play it. You don't always want to go straight off the key levels like I said before. So as we see here, we reached that 320 level, bounce back up. Now as you can see, there was heavy buying volume that pushed the stock all the way back above this sort of how do I put this, consolidation or trading channel, and then push back above, and then also as we can see once again, wick. So this day we were very wicky with the candles, and we were seeing certain moves reject, bounce, reject, bounce. So right off the bat, we know that today is going to be a very volatile trading day, and obviously some want to trade in these conditions, some don't. It's good for practice, and yeah, so sometimes you're just going to want to take a step back, but for those who did trade, obviously wick down, wick up. So now what we're paying attention to is going to be this retest of this 322 level. Now I'm basically going to go through how we read the bids and asks to push this further to the downside and why we sold off so hard. So as you can see here, now that we are live once again, we see that we're pushing down. Now I'm looking for my entry point under 322, but I want to pay attention to the bids and asks as well as the sell-off volume to confirm my trade. Now we're slowly moving down here, and as you guys will see, make sure you're paying attention to the bids and asks very soon. So we'll just let this go. Pushing down, pushing down. Let's see. So here we go. We're down to this 322 point. Oh no, did I pause it? Is that paused? Okay, it is. So we push down to this 322.07 level. Now, this is right before we're about to take the trade. And what I want you guys to see is as the bids go 321.4, 321.98, what we're actually paying attention to is the size, bid size, and ask size. Now, along with that, you also want to pay attention to whether the prices are rising or pushing further downwards. So as you can see, NASDAQ bid 322.06. Obviously, on this side, we see the sellers coming in and prices being driven down to the downside, as well as the asks being pushed to the downside along with the bid. So they both are tying into each other. Now, along with that, we see this candle pushing down very heavily. So this key 322 level is where we're looking to push further to the downside. And let's see how it plays out. So let me just explain to you guys really quick. So as you guys can see, this level is showing us that since we also wicked here, what we're seeing is that there's buyers that want to come in here. Now what you're going to want to pay attention to with level 2 is, can the buyers hold this 322 level? Are there enough buyers to push the price back up to the upside, or are we going to continue to sell off, consolidate, whichever direction? Remember, we're following the market. So let's see. So another thing to pay attention to is the time up here. We're on the 1 minute, so we're gonna want to pay attention to every single candle close. Will it close in this candle, or are you guys gonna expect the next candle to close below? So now we actually did push below, and what I want you guys to watch is heading into the next candle, what Facebook decides to do next. So next, this candle has started off confirmed below our line. So what that's showing us is weakness. Now we start to sell off further. Now as we start to sell off further, obviously the bids are decreasing and we're pushing down, as well as the asks dropping. So what we're really doing here is having patience. Remember, we're in a very choppy market, so we want to let our trades play out and keep that tight stop loss. So in this situation, where would your stop loss be? Usually above this candlestick, or just 10% depending on your risk management. 322.3, we're pushing back up, but it still looks very weak overall. So as we can see, another wick right here, and then this candlestick is going to form red, then push up green. So another wicked out candle. So very volatile, something that I don't recommend trading in. So what we really want to see for a key confirmation, once again, and keep in mind we're already in this trade at this candlestick, what we want to see is this candlestick push below this level. So we have lows between these three candles, which we just did. Now 321.56. Now what your profit or take profit target is should be based on previous levels. So always have your previous levels drawn out, and even if you have your previous levels drawn out, remember we're always going based off price action. So now we're going to continue to just bounce a bit, sell off a bit. We're really just seeing at this 322 range whether the buyers want to come in and push the price back up or push the price continuously down. So to be completely honest with you, this entry right here is not the best entry. For the ideal entry, you would want to have waited a bit longer, but just for me, I was willing to take that trade earlier on before we pushed into these next 3 candles. So we'll see how this trade plays out. Remember, always keeping a tight stop, and remember, you're watching the bids and asks constantly. So as we can see, the selling volume is continuously beginning to pick up. We'll see where we head next. So pushing down 321.5, as we can see, low of day 320.5. So a key level to break below is going to be low of day. So around a 320 price target level, even below that is where you can exit your trade. Buyers begin to push back in. Still looks very weak. The bids all coming in lower, lower, lower. Asks now even lower. So I want you guys to see how the difference between the bid and ask is slowly pushing to the downside. Now, as it pushes to the downside, all we need is this volume to push back up. Now we're at 321 level and continuously pushing down. Now, instead of these huge wicks, now we're actually getting consolidation within the actual candlesticks, which is showing us that the price isn't just rapidly pushing down. We're actually seeing a slower move down if you're paying attention to the 1 minute time frame instead of just an immediate push. We'll see how this plays out here. So right about here, we're obviously already up on our trade. Now, with the way the market was moving at this current time, SPY also looked very weak. So we're just holding into this trade 320.8. So now once we hit this level, what we're watching for is a break of the low of day. So the bids and asks still pushing to the downside, heavy sell-off volume, and we're looking for this next break to then exit our trade. And as we can see, there's still a lot of time left for this specific candlestick. So still holding, and now we have broken low of day. So at the break of low of day, what I want you guys to pay attention to is we now see the bids and asks are flattening out. So as you can see, the asks are rising and then the bids are slowly pushing down. So what this is going to show us is there is possibility for price consolidation here. If you're willing to take on that risk for the extra amount of profit, that's up to you. So we'll see how this plays out, like I said once again. Bids pushing down, further downside. Remember, we're waiting for that 320 key level. Now we're in the next candlestick forming. Still haven't broken 320 yet, but we're gonna wait for that. Now remember, if you guys are in the team, you already know we're always posting the stop trails to make sure that you're staying in profit with all of these trades. That's how you remain a consistent trader, but you need a trading plan to be able to execute and have high confidence while trading. So as we can see, we're getting closer to that 320 level, and I want you guys to remember 320 is kind of a psychological level, not as much as, for example, a $300 or $400 level. And now we have just pushed below, and here's where we're going to exit the trade on this exact candle right here. So as we break below 320, taking profits probably around the 319.9 area, and it doesn't matter to me if we push further below or if we head back to the upside, because we're just scalping this trade. Now we can see a pushback to the upside, and another way you could have traded this trade is by playing the low of day with this heavy volume push to the downside. So around 320.6 for another entry, and that would have led you with a 1-point move. So overall, this is just a normal quick trade breakdown of Facebook. If you guys like these videos, make sure to drop a comment down below. And yeah, I appreciate everybody for watching. And thank you guys. Hope you have a great trading day tomorrow. And make sure you follow the Instagram at DayTheCEO. Thank you.